Listen, really listen, because something just shifted for you. Not out there in the noise, but in the quiet room where decisions are born. Tonight isn't random. It's an appointment. The nudge you've been ignoring, it finally has a name. Think about all the almosts that stacked up this year, the invitations you turned down, the doors that wouldn't open, the sudden restlessness that made your favorite routines feel too small. Those weren't delays, they were signals moving you to this precise hour. A long, kept purpose has been ripening behind the scenes, and now the curtain is lifting. The waiting season is over. Ambiguity has done its work. If you pause, you can feel the alignment, like a key sliding into the lock for the first time. This isn't a pep talk or a dopamine spike. It's the quiet certainty that what's within you is ready to begin. Ask yourself, if this moment were handcrafted for you, what would you stop postponing? What truth would you finally say out loud? Tonight, take ownership of the calling that's been whispering your name. This is the page where your story stops circling and starts moving. Called Not Merely Invited. Some opportunities are optional. This one isn't. You're not being asked to consider. You're being deployed. There's a difference. Invitations can be ignored, but a commission carries weight, direction, timing, responsibility. You may look at your toolbox and see gaps. That's fine. You were never chosen for your polish. You were chosen for your willingness. Preparation follows summoning, not the other way around. Think of every role you've stepped into before you felt ready. The first day at a new job, the first hard conversation you finally had. Readiness arrived in motion. The path before you has already been graded and cleared. You're being asked to take your place on it. You won't be walking into a void. You'll be stepping into a lane that's been quietly constructed while you grew. Let the pressure shift off your performance and onto your obedience. Stand up inside your life. Put your name on the line. If you need a promise, take this. You will be shaped as you go. If you need a question, take this one. What would change if you trusted that the road is real even before your feet touch it? Strength for a different journey. Expect the landscape to change. When you accept assignment, the weather often turns. New resistance, new choices, new thresholds. Don't misread the headwind as a no. A kite rises because of it. The power you'll need won't come from consensus or applause. It will come from the author of this calling. That means criticism can't cancel you, and praise can't crown you. You are moving from fitting in to carrying, from explaining yourself to embodying your work. You're becoming a vessel, ordinary clay, with an uncommon purpose. Picture a conductor lifting the baton. The room is the same, but the air changes because intent has entered it. That's what's happening in you. Relationships may recalibrate. Habits that once felt harmless will feel heavy. The metrics you used to chase won't measure what matters next. Measure faithfulness. Measure depth. Measure whether your yes remains intact when progress is slow. And if fear visits, ask it for its data, and then keep moving. You weren't designed to outsource your direction to other people's comfort. You were designed to follow light. The journey is different now, but so are you. Authority over the old noise. Here's what begins to fade: the low-grade anxieties that kept you negotiating with yourself. The loops that told you to keep your voice small. Authority is not volume, it's alignment. When your interior agrees with your assignment, fear loses its leverage. The unease you feel today isn't danger, it's stretch. Treat it like a new pair of shoes, stiff for a moment, made for distance. Do not downplay what's been entrusted to you. False humility is just pride in a softer outfit. You are not fabricating confidence, you're remembering it. Beneath the second, guessing, you've always carried a steady core, a quiet yes that didn't need witnesses. If you've been living below your design, That's changing. Think of a dimmer switch easing forward. The room was always a room, but now it's usable. Start where your feet are. One decision you've been postponing, one boundary you need to set, one truth you must state without apology. This is not bravado. It's stewardship. What you carry is meant to serve others, not impress them. And when the old noise returns, as it will, answer with action, not debate. You're done asking for permission to be who you already are, kept through opposition. If the pushback surprises you, remember, resistance is rarely about your past, it's about your potential. Some words were meant to bruise you into silence. Some rooms were engineered to shrink you. Some systems counted on your compliance. They missed one thing: you were preserved. Not spared from every wound, but guarded for this work. Opposition, allowed on purpose, became training. You learned discernment from betrayal, clarity from confusion, courage from scarcity. The adversary often recognizes weight before we do. That's why the attacks felt premature. Yet you're still here, less naive, more whole. Let that history become data, not drama. Build from it. If old narratives try to reattach, too much, too intense, too different, answer with outcomes. Your calling is not a personality quirk. It's an assignment with fruit attached. There's a new economy around you now. Energy spent people, pleasing will be repurposed into creating, serving, healing. Ask yourself, which relationships amplify your obedience and which ones tax it? Which structures need to be left, not fixed? Give yourself permission to graduate. You weren't saved to stay small. You were kept so the new thing could begin. Grace in motion. This isn't a hint, it's movement. You're stepping into a choreography you didn't design, but were always meant to dance. Favor has been the invisible hand keeping you from rooms that would have deluded you and holding you through nights that should have broken you. Now it's the wind at your back. Not everyone will understand, and they don't have to. What's unfolding in you belongs to a larger blueprint. Trying to make it make sense to every onlooker will slow you down and thin the mystery that feeds your courage. Let some people misread you. Keep your eyes on the assignment. Your job is not to convince. Your job is to continue. So mark this shift with something tangible. Write the commitment in a journal. Make the call, clear the calendar block, say the yes out loud. Then protect it. Guard the early growth from overexposure. Honor small beginnings without despising them. Grace is active now. It moves resources, opens timing, closes detours. You'll know it by the ease that follows integrity, by the opportunities that meet you in motion, by the peace that remains when outcomes wobble. Keep walking. The plan is expanding, and you are exactly on time. Enlisted to awaken. You are not being comforted, you are being enlisted. There is a difference. Comfort asks you to rest. Enlistment asks you to rise. Your spirit has been set apart for a season that stretches you past the border of who you thought you were. The quiet part of you that went still to survive is stirring again, like embers recognizing breath. You won't be hiding in plain sight anymore. You won't confuse invisibility with safety or smallness with humility. Consider the times you felt a surge of courage for no obvious reason, the moments a sentence arrived fully formed in your mind and burned there until you spoke it. That was the assignment knocking. If you ask, why now? Because delay would break you more than effort will. You've been signed into a work that requires your full presence, clearer boundaries, truer words, deeper love that costs something. Expect the terrain to test your center. Expect your center to hold. Say out loud, even if only to yourself, I am available. Not because I am fearless, but because fear is no longer my leader. This is an activation, not a rehearsal. Step forward. The page will meet your feet. Known before you knew. Long before you could name your longing, your name was spoken in places you could not see. That is why resistance seemed to find you early. Purpose is visible in the unseen before it is obvious on the surface. You carried something old, something that did not begin with you, and that inheritance drew attention. Think of the childhood moments when you felt unusually watched, when your instincts were sharper than your language. You could have quit, many do, but something deeper than willpower kept you, an ancestral memory in the soul that says you were made for this. Let that memory sit at your table again. It reminds you that identity is not assembled from scrutiny or applause. It is recognized. Recognition is why some people misread your silence as arrogance or your intensity as fragility. Recognition is why detours rose up where others walked straight through. Hear this: you were not late, you were being located. The unseen realm already understood your trajectory and responded accordingly. Now you do too. So when you feel that old opposition sniff the wind, don't shrink. Let it confirm the weight you carry. The fact that darkness noticed you first is not a curse, it's a clue. Guarded and grown by pain, nothing you survived was wasted. Not one tear, not one crack, not one night you counted the ceiling tiles to stay awake. A holy hedge guarded your life even when your heart felt unguarded. The breaks did not define you, they revealed you, like a kiln revealing the vessel's strength by heat, not by compliments. If you ever wondered whether endurance mattered, know this: the one who called you respects those who persist. The scars you carry are not decorations, they are evidence, proof that love can live under pressure and that truth can outlast noise. Reframe the storyline. What looked like punishment was early training. What felt like abandonment was supervision you couldn't perceive. You were watched closely, not to catch you failing, but to keep you from falling where you could not stand again. Hold your history in your hands and ask, what did this teach me about trust, discernment, authority? Let those answers become tools, not trophies. When the old ache tries to reopen its case, show it the verdict: I am still here. Pain had a purpose. It taught you to read rooms, to bless goodbyes, to differentiate urgent from important. That lesson is why you can build without breaking. The wisdom of closed doors. Waiting was never dead time, it was design time. The path was being poured while you learned how to walk on it. Every unopened door you took personally was in truth a guardrail. Safety doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it looks like a no that saves your name for a better yes. Look back. The connections that fell away were not punishments. They were pruning, so the work appointed to you would not be strangled by vines that loved your shade, but not your fruit. Guidance often felt like delay because you were measuring by speed, not by accuracy. But accuracy is mercy. Ask yourself, which closed doors protected my peace? Which endings preserve my integrity? Let those answers detox your impatience. Learn to bless the path that did not let you sprint past your own formation. You were not alone for a single step. You were being steered quietly, precisely, kindly. The next time a door refuses to budge, instead of forcing it, practice this prayer. If this door will cost me clarity, keep it shut. If it will keep me true, open it in your time. That posture will save you from detours that flatter the ego and starve the soul. The math of resistance. Different was never your defect, it was your designation. Feeling out of place wasn't proof you were wrong, it was proof you were rare. Here is a hard kindness. Opposition often scales to calling. No one wastes ammunition on empty rooms. If the pushback felt disproportionate, it's because your assignment carries proportion. Let this reframe your story. The scrutiny you resented was a backhanded compliment from systems that sensed you wouldn't comply forever. You were watched because your life, when awake, becomes a wedge that opens spaces others declared sealed. Receive the logic. The greater the weight, the deeper the foundation. The deeper the foundation, the longer the build. The longer the build, the stronger the house. So stop resenting the time it took to ground you. Start interpreting resistance as data. Where does it cluster? What truth is it trying to smother? Guard that exact place. And when the old chorus chants, be smaller, be safer, be the same, answer with practice, not posture. Do the next faithful thing so consistently that conformity gets bored and leaves. You were not shaped to fit a mold. You were shaped to break a pattern. Let your difference keep its full voltage. From fear to stewardship. Fear used to be the foreman. Now it's a consultant, and you're not hiring. Attention is still on you, but the source matters. Divine attention guides and guards. Hostile attention agitates and intimidates. Learn the difference in your body. Peace may tremble, but it does not vanish. Panic shouts, wisdom speaks. The dreams intensifying lately? The pressure that makes you breathe deeper before a decision? These are not random symptoms. They are activation signals. Treat them with honor, not suspicion. You're sensing more because you are meant to carry more. Some people will react strangely, not because you've changed into someone unkind, but because what's in you confronts what's unfinished in them. Bless them and keep moving. You do not need universal agreement to obey a particular call. Begin to steward what you carry like it's real, because it is. Write what wakes you. Pray what presses you. Speak what settles you. And when fear visits, ask it two questions. What are you protecting, and what proof do you have? Then thank it for its concern and proceed. Courage is not noise. It's fidelity under pressure. You're not trying to feel brave. You're choosing to be faithful. That choice is your authority. Returning to the original blueprint. Maybe you've been called too much, too intense, too different. Tonight, let's rename that accurately wired. The ache of not belonging wasn't a flaw to fix. It was a compass pointing you away from molds that would have muffled your gift. You were kept from certain rooms not because you lacked value, but because your value would have been misused there. The feeling of standing at the edge of conversations, sensing more than you could say, was not awkwardness. It was alignment with an older design, yours. Being left out was often being set apart so you could emerge clear, not compromised, ready, not rushed. Picture a seed in the dark. Unseen does not mean unfinished. You've been protected from patterns that would have polished you into something pretty, but powerless. Now the signal is green. The truth is simple. You do not need to become someone else to do what only you can do. Let your difference breathe at full size. Let your language be as exact as your seeing. If you've been apologizing for how you're built, retire the apology. Your build is the point. Step back into your original settings, the ones that make your spirit bright and your work clean. Refined in the quiet. Refining doesn't ask permission. It separates, stretches, and sometimes scrapes. If it burned, it's because dross doesn't leave politely. But the fire wasn't against you, it was for you. You don't owe the world an explanation for why you withdrew, prayed longer, spoke less, or said no to what everyone else said yes to. Your spirit simply refused a life that traded depth for speed. You were not born to keep the surface shiny. You were born to bring real change, the kind that rearranges rooms and hearts. That's why you carry a flame that exposes what's counterfeit, softly but surely. Trust that instinct. When something looks impressive yet rings hollow, believe the bell. Let the quiet become your workshop again. Reflection as sandpaper, scripture as plumb line, honest journaling as mirror. The refining season taught you to choose clean over clever, substance over spectacle. Keep that curriculum close. You are tougher than the heat and gentler than the noise. That pairing is rare, and it's exactly what this moment asks of you. A steadying presence that doesn't shout, a truthful presence that doesn't shame. Stay with the process until the work inside you shows through your life without strain. Strength built in solitude. You were chosen for your willingness, not your resume, and willingness is trained in places crowds avoid. Loneliness taught you to hear nuance in a whisper. Waiting taught you to move without theatrics. Uncertainty taught you to hold questions without losing your yes. Being pushed out, often protection in disguise. Delays, often reroutes that kept your promise from being pickpocketed by hurry. Not everyone can live near a bright light. Some prefer a dimmer room. That's not your indictment, it's your instruction. Guard what glows. There were days you wondered if the silence meant you were forgotten. It meant you were being formed. Think of a violin, time alone with the maker, would bent under heat, shape held until tone appears. Your tone has appeared. You can stand in tension without snapping, love without leaking, confront without contempt. Keep the practices that fed you when applause was absent, morning stillness, long walks, small obediences. They are not remedial, they are advanced. Let solitude remain a friend you visit, not a prison you fear. It taught you who you are when no one claps. That self is the only one strong enough to carry what comes next. The right company, the right course. You don't need a crowd, you need a circle. The right ones will recognize your light without demanding you dim it. They won't compete with your clarity, they'll contribute to it. If someone only loves your results but resists your roots, thank them for the lesson and keep moving. Companionship is not consensus, it's shared devotion to truth. You were never meant to mirror the room. You were meant to reveal what the room could be. So yes, your life may continue to look different. That difference is fidelity, not rebellion. The fog that once made you doubt your direction is lifting now. Decisions that used to feel like coin flips will begin to feel like compass points. Pay attention to who gets clearer around you and who gets combative around you. Both are data. Align with those who grow more honest in your presence. Bless those who don't and loosen your grip. You are not obligated to maintain every story you once outgrew. Let your yes be simple, your no be clean, your boundaries be kind but firm. Clarity is not cruelty, it's care. Care for the assignment, for your soul, and for the people you're called to serve well. The return of your native gift. That sensitivity you tried to outgrow, it's not a liability, it's your instrument, finally tuned and back in your hands. The increase in dreams, the sudden pattern recognition, the ability to feel a room shift before anyone speaks, these are not quirks. They are confirmations. Your insight doesn't come from trend or temperament. It flows from a deeper source, which is why time didn't erode it and hardship couldn't erase it. Restlessness has always trailed you because the world outside rarely matched the depth inside. Now the gap is closing. When you sense something off, do not apologize for asking questions. When you perceive what's possible, do not minimize it to keep company. Name what you notice. Write what you hear. Offer what you see. This is not about being mystical for mysticism's sake. It's about being faithful with the tools you were born carrying. Use your gift to uncover what's hidden, to comfort what's wounded, to clarify what's tangled. If you've wondered whether your way of knowing has a place, it does, and it's needed now. Lean in without theatrics. Share without forcing. Trust that the right ears will find your words in the right hour. Irrevocable gift, responsible response. What has been placed in you will not be recalled. That's mercy, but it's also mandate. Since the gift remains, the question is stewardship. You see beneath surfaces, you feel the weight of what matters. Don't mute that to make rooms easier. The culture will coach you to sand down the edges that make you effective. Be blander, be safer, be less. Decline politely. You're not here to impress algorithms. You're here to deliver truth with love and precision. Begin practicing public courage in private. Articulate convictions on paper. Pray through the names that come to mind. Rehearse boundaries aloud until they're natural. When pressure rises, choose presence over performance, clarity over cleverness, and service over spectacle. Let your work be an answer to someone's hidden question. And when criticism arrives, as it will, separate the gift of feedback from the fog of fear. Keep the gold, discard the grit. Remember, grace equips what it calls. You are not being sent unprovisioned. Your task is to move with what you've been given, not to wait for universal consent. Step toward the assignment with a steady yes. Heaven doesn't ask for perfect people. It asks for willing ones, and you are willing. Let the gift lead and guard. Stop treating your sensitivity like a suspect. Treat it like a guide. The increase in vivid dreams, the sudden knowing that lands before the facts arrive, the tug to speak when silence would be simpler, these are not glitches. They're guidance and protection braided together. Your gift is a road, a compass, and shield. Use it without apology. When something in you says, slow down here, honor it. When a person's words sparkle but your spirit goes dull, believe your spirit. You're being tuned to what is true so you can help others hear it. There are people waiting on the other side of your obedience. Someone's fog will lift because you chose to trust what you carry. Start small and faithful. Write the dream before breakfast. Text the encouragement when a name won't leave your mind. Ask the clarifying question that loosens the knot in the room. This isn't performance, it's service. The world does not need louder noise, it needs truer notes. Let your light create pathways, not spotlights. And remember, protection often looks like a redirected schedule, an uneasy yes that becomes a holy no, a late exit that avoids an early trap. Your gift guards you best when you actually use it. Fire that didn't finish you. Do not waste time convincing cold hearts about the warmth within you. Some will only understand once they stand near the flame. Until then, let them keep their distance without taking their distance personally. Understand, opposition learned your name early. It calculated pressure points and launched its plans before you could even articulate yours. That's why some beginnings hurt. But look at the data. You're still here. The fact of your presence is already a counterargument to every plot. Let that settle your breath. You are not fragile equipment. You are tempered metal. The early headwinds were not proof of your smallness. They were proof of your significance. So when you feel that old chill trying to creep back in, stoke the fire you carry. Remember the moments you almost shrank and didn't, the boundary you kept, the truth you spoke, the risk you took without an audience. Those were rehearsals for now. The strategy against you is timing. The strategy for you is endurance. Keep your pace steady, your focus clean. You don't need to fight every rumor. You need to fulfill your role. The ember in you has survived the winter. Walk like someone who expects spring. What resistance accidentally taught you? If childhood felt heavier than it should have, name it honestly. Spiritual resistance showed up early to muffle a voice the future needed. Attempts were made to quiet you, through shaming, through confusion, through rooms where your presence was tolerated but not welcomed. They failed. Every snare became a seminar. You learned what manipulation sounds like when it wears kindness. You learned the pace of wisdom, slower, steadier, kinder to your nervous system. You learned to separate loud from true. Notice the pattern. Every time your sight sharpened, the pushback spiked. That wasn't a sign to retreat. It was a sign you were near the vein. Keep mining there. Catalog what resistance taught you. how to rest before decisions, how to ask for evidence when fear makes claims, how to leave quietly when peace refuses to stay. Let those practices become your muscle memory. Now, when old tactics try familiar doors, guilt, hurry, flattery, your spirit recognizes the knock and doesn't answer. That is maturity. That is mastery. You are not haunted by your past lessons. You are hired by them. Let your history fund your future. The test pattern is clear. When pressure rises as clarity grows, keep choosing clarity. It is how you win. Breaking patterns, healing lines. Some of what pressed against you wasn't just personal, it was historical. Old stories that ran in your blood, mindsets inherited like furniture, loyalties to pain that felt like identity. Those forces recognize your difference and try to draft you back into the family script. Stay small, stay silent, stay the same. But you were never meant to be an echo. You were built to be a bridge. A bridge connects what was harmed to what can be healed. That's why the pressure felt generational. It was, so bless the good you received, release the rest, and write new terms. You are allowed to outgrow patterns that fed your ancestors but starve your assignment. You're allowed to redefine loyalty as honesty, not secrecy. Ask brave questions. What beliefs did I inherit that no longer bear fruit? What practices preserve pain? What boundaries would honor both compassion and truth? Then move, gently, firmly, consistently. Your yes to wholeness won't erase your history, it will redeem it. The lineage learns when one person lives free. Expect turbulence, expect grace. You are not a traitor to your people by healing. You are a faithful steward of them. Stand between past and future and keep the bridge open. Power that arrives with permission. You were never designed to blend. Nonconformity is not your rebellion, it's your obedience. Power has been present the whole time, but activates at full strength when you consent to use it. That's the turning point, the day you stop asking rooms to validate what heaven already entrusted. Notice what shifts when approval is no longer your oxygen. You begin to move from explanation to execution, from managing optics to making impact. The work that has been growing underground starts breaking the surface, quiet shoots that don't need headlines to prove they're alive. Ask yourself daily, where am I outsourcing my authority? To whose comfort have I leased my voice? Then take it back, kindly and completely. Practice living unhooked from the scoreboard. Measure by faithfulness, by integrity under pressure, by the peace that follows truth even when outcomes wobble. This isn't a license to be harsh, it's an invitation to be whole. When you stop dimming, your presence stops negotiating and starts guiding. People who are ready will find courage in your clarity. People who are not will call it arrogance. Let them. You're not here to impress crowds. You're here to lift ceilings. Permission granted. Power on. When identity clicks, atmospheres shift. Here's what happens when you know who you are. Your prayers gain weight. Your words travel farther than your voice, and your presence steadies rooms that used to shake you. You start things, fresh conversations, kinder boundaries, bolder mercies. Lies that once policed your edges lose jurisdiction. If you are tired from a fight, hear this as a bell and a bomb. It's time. Time for your voice to exit hibernation. Time for your courage to be practical. Lists made, calls placed, habits built. Identity is not just a feeling, it's a schedule. Begin with one decisive act that aligns your outside with your inside. The apology you owe yourself, the project you've delayed, the relationship you need to bless and release. Pray like someone authorized. Speak like someone entrusted. Walk like someone expected. Your life is not a lecture, it's a lighthouse. It doesn't argue with storms, it shines for sailors. Let that be your posture. Bright, grounded, consistent. And when doubt circles, return to the simplest confession. I am who I am called to be, and I will do what I am called to do. The world may not understand that sentence yet. The world will understand its results. The holy urgency of now. There are moments that ask politely and moments that ring like a bell. This is the bell. You are a sacred shift against the dark, not by bravado, but by alignment. You feel it, like the room pausing to hear what you will say next. That pressure isn't panic, it's purpose requesting a signature. Delay at this stage is not neutrality. It's resistance dressed as caution. Count the cost of waiting. The conversations you won't have, the people who stay stuck because your courage stayed quiet, the gifts that grow dull when they're shelved. Then count the cost of moving. Misunderstood seasons, new disciplines, a calendar that reflects your calling. Only one cost compounds into life. When the inner vibration says, now, answer out loud. Draft the email. Start the page. Set the boundary. Pray the bold prayer. Let your yes be time-stamped. Urgency is not speed. It's clarity under pressure. You are not being rushed. You are being released. The marked moment has arrived, not to inflate your ego, but to awaken your stewardship. Live as if the future needs your present tense obedience, because it does. This is not about being dramatic. It's about being decisive. Step in. The door responds to wait. Leaving safety, entering center. He stopped the noise so you could hear this clearly. Comfort season is over. Not because comfort is evil, but because calling won't fit inside it. You ask for presence. Presence answers with purpose, and purpose always includes challenge. Watch for the telltales of a true summons. Unusual headwinds where there used to be ease. Dreams that land like blueprints. A surprising disinterest in former priorities that once felt non-negotiable. Don't interpret these as failure. They are reallocation. You are being moved from sidelines to the center, from circling to building. Heaven is measuring your response more than your rhetoric. So respond. Clean your commitments. Trade vague intention for scheduled obedience. If a task terrifies and clarifies you at once, it likely belongs to this hour. Say yes and let strategy arrive in steps. Courage is granular. One phone call, one meeting, one refusal to pretend you don't know what you know. You cannot pray for strength and then reject the gym where it's made. Walk forward with a steady soul and kind eyes. The point isn't to prove you're fearless, it's to prove you're faithful. The map will stretch as you move. Standing still won't make it appear. The gift of the hidden years. Hidden seasons aren't empty, they're formative. You learn the cadence of a voice that doesn't shout. You learn to lean into what you couldn't see and be held by what does. Solitude sharpened your discernment. Silence thickened your roots. Some called it weakness because you weren't performing. It was wisdom because you were becoming. Protection often looks like obscurity, so what felt like being overlooked was actually being overseen. Those quiet rooms taught you to separate activity from assignment, platform from purpose, noise from necessity. Keep those distinctions sacred. When visibility returns, return often to the practices that built you. Unhurried prayer, honest confession, long obedience in the same direction. Do not apologize for guarding what is still knitting together inside you. Not everything needs an audience to be true. The hidden years were not a detour from your destiny. They were the foundation of it. You were not preserved to remain invisible. You were preserved so that when you emerge, you carry substance that doesn't evaporate under light. Let the world think you arrived suddenly. You and heaven know the hours. You didn't skip steps. You took the staircase no one saw. That's why you can hold the weight you're about to carry. Depth over directions. You wanted a map, you received mountains. No clear legend, just steep paths and hard choices. Yet look at what the climb produced. Steadiness that doesn't panic, sight that isn't fooled, a heart that chooses truth when shortcuts wink. Lack of a blueprint wasn't neglect, it was training in trust. The most valuable thing you gained isn't a route, it's a ruler, the ability to measure what's real. That discernment is priceless in a world obsessed with speed. Depth takes the long road on purpose. It builds slow so it can carry far. Keep choosing deep over fast, honest over easy, roots over reach. When someone asks, "How do you know?" you can answer, because it bears weight. Let this become your operating system. Test everything by fruit, not flash. Ask the questions that anchor. Does this enlarge love? Does this guard integrity? Does this align with what I heard in the quiet? If yes, proceed, step by step. If no, bless and release. You are not behind. You're buried like a seed. Time is not your enemy. Pretense is. And you've outgrown pretense. The long path has made you strong enough to walk with a calm face while the ground shifts, and to keep your promise anyway. When substance speaks, your story is built in a grammar older than applause, hidden, then revealed, formed off stage, then carried on stage. You don't need to argue your identity. Let the work talk. In rooms where explanations used to drain you, outcomes will do the speaking. Quiet, consistent, undeniable. This is what authority looks like. Not louder, but heavier. Your words will feel different because they will be full of lived truth, full of tested love, full of miles walked in weather others only theorized about. Don't cheapen that weight by chasing quick validation. Steward it by serving real people with real needs. When you speak, aim for clarity, not cleverness. When you act, aim for faithfulness, not headlines. Results will gather on their own timeline. Let patience be part of your presence. And if someone demands credentials you don't carry, offer fruit they can't fake. Reconciled relationships, steadied souls, practical mercy. That fruit silences accusations better than any defense. You were prepared where no one saw, so you could sustain what everyone will soon see. Stand there, calm, grounded, grateful. You are not trying to be important. You are trying to be true. Ironically, truth is what makes you important to the people who need you most. Unveiled and commission the covering lifts now. Not because you hustled hard enough, but because the one who watched you says, ready. Every test that tried to break you became evidence you can be trusted with weight. Feel the focused gaze on your next steps. It isn't scrutiny for failure, it's attention for partnership. You are not being thrown into the deep, you're being walked to the helm. Expect holy pressure, the kind that steadies your hands instead of shaking them. You'll sense it in your bones before you see it in results. Let that pressure refine your yes, not reduce it. Step out as one who has been seen and sent. Name what season is closing. Bless what cannot go with you. Receive what's newly placed in your care, people, projects, prayers, and carry them with clean motives. When asked how you arrived here, you won't have a glamorous answer, only a true one. I stayed. I learned. I obeyed. And that will be enough. From here forward, live like someone under assignment, humble enough to listen, brave enough to act, anchored enough to endure. The hidden one is revealed. The prepared one is released. Walk forward, eyes up, heart quiet, hands open. The next chapter has your name on it.